we live? Are we live? Looks like we are. Yeah, let's do it. Hey, I'm Bad Guru, aka Peter Hartman, aka Yang 2020 Vision, aka super happy to be with you here tonight. Tonight's show, we'll be talking about ABC's third debate and the evaluation of Andrew Yang. But first, I have to issue just a slight correction. Just off the top, I made a mistake in one of the videos I did before. You know what happens when you're ranting. I said something about Obama separating kids from their families at the border. Not true. Not true. Looked into it. I got commented on it. I love being called out on that stuff. So that's not true, okay? Obama didn't do that. All right, good. And yeah, I wanted to get to this earlier. I don't know, my buddy David, he commented, he was asking me for my opinion, and I was just so busy, I wasn't around. But I also wanted to be able to watch all of the other commentary. You know, part of what I want to do on this show is that I want to look at what people are talking about and provide you with a perspective that might be different than that, something extra. So I have to wait until other people put stuff out. I got to watch Paget. I got to watch Nurture Yang. I got to watch Problem Solver Politics and some of the media coverage. So I think I got a handle on what's going on here, and I want to talk about that. You guys ready for the Yang debate recap? All right, let's do it. First of all, I got my prediction wrong, my debate prediction wrong. So I thought they were going to give him questions, and that the questions would be sharp and hard and difficult, unduly difficult. And he did kind of get pointed, sharp questions, but they didn't really call on him. He got the lowest again. The lowest speaking time. Do these guys not know about Let Yang speak? Do they not know what's going on? Do they not know what's been happening in all the debates? They know, and they don't care. All right. So I got my prediction wrong. He got to speak. He didn't get many questions, and that was a bummer. But you know what were we expecting, huh? I know some of you in the Yangdom, you're feeling very upset right now for some reason. Some reason you're feeling very upset. Just take a breath. Just calm down. Make me think harder. Hey, how you doing? Thanks for joining. I know some people. I don't know if it's you. I don't know if you if you there are somebody who's found this upsetting, who thought the debates were upsetting. Some people did. Some people thought it went poorly, terribly. Some people really, really wanted something differently from this debate. I got to ask you, why are you disappointed? Why the heck are you guys disappointed? Okay, those of you who are, right? From the first, 15 minutes in this debate, to me, Andrew had already won. It was absolutely fantastic, and we're going to get into this, okay? Those of you who thought he was going to get... Look, I thought he was going to get more time, but I wasn't surprised that he didn't get more time, okay? Not surprised at all. He's not considered top-tier candidate. He's still considered fringe candidate. Why would they give him more time? People who are tuning into this, who don't know Andrew Yang, are not looking to listen to Andrew Yang. Look, when we were watching it and there was all these people who we didn't know on the stage, we didn't want to hear them speak. And so the media, they got ratings, they got money to bring in, and they're not going to put people on the screen that other people are not expecting to see. They're just going to give people at home a reason to turn the channel. So unless Yang gets even more popular, this trend is just going to continue. So don't expect him to get more time. Make Me Think Harder says you have mixed feelings. You know, I know how you feel. I know how you feel. My feelings not really mixed on the subject. Maybe it's because I went in with managed expectations, so there was less for me to feel disappointed in. But I'm not surprised. You know what? Honestly, guys, I'm proud that Andrew Yang gets the least amount of time to speak. It's more impressive that he's on that stage. It's more impressive that he's making it forward. He gets to now we get to dominate and use the Let Yang Speak hashtag, and people are going to keep thinking, hey, what's going on? When people finally get to hear about Andrew Yang, when he finally hits that mainstream and everybody's asking about him and wondering about him and he's on all these news channels, they're going to go back and see, oh my God, this whole time they wouldn't let Andrew Yang speak. He's actually a great example why you have to change this whole debate process. I think it's good. He still gets the mantle of underdog. It's better that he's totally dead last in speaking time than if he had like if he was third up from the bottom, you know? Because then people would say like, what do you have to complain about? Right now, the bias is obvious because he's dead last. The bias is obvious. At least they didn't get to hide their tracks, hide their feelings. We know how they feel. So on that sense, I'm glad that he didn't get that he got the. I mean, I'm not glad that he got the lowest speaking time, but you know what I mean. If he didn't get a lot of speaking time, at least he still gets that mantle of I'm being shunned by the media. And let me tell you this: there's a lot of people, especially conservative voters, especially on the Republican side, people that he's going to need to flip in the election, who don't like the media, who don't trust them, and when the media is biased against you, it makes another segment of the population go, I got to pay attention to this Andrew Yang fellow. Right? I tell you that. I feel that way. I feel that way. When I kept saying, hey, why is Andrew Yang not getting attention? It made me want to look into Andrew Yang. And the more he gets into the mainstream, the more people are going to go, here's a guy who's gotten screwed by the media. So I think it'll be good. Make me think Carter says he needed to at least tell people to stop interrupting him. Okay, we're going to get to that in a moment, okay? Let me get to this in order here. There are people who wanted him to get those sound bites in, you know? His answers are too verbose. It was too complex. He should have just kept it simple and go for the sound bite. You know, sound bites to me are for people who don't have great ideas, all right? You might have a good idea. You might have an okay idea, and then sound bite will help. A lot of these candidates, they're prepared and they rehearse sound bites because if they just say their idea, nobody's going to get on fire for their idea. It's not great enough, right? Or it's not unique enough, right? So they can't just say, I'm for Medicare for all. I'm for education. Because what does it matter? Everybody's for that. But when Andrew says, I'm for UBI, Universal Basic Income, and nobody else is saying that, that to me is the soundbite. That to me is better than any soundbite, any zinger that he can put forward. So look, just know when you hear sound bites from people who on purpose practice sound bites, that's not somebody you really want to support, man. Generally speaking, okay? There's nothing inherently wrong with sound bites, but it's not a good sign. Substance. All right. The surprise announcement at the beginning of the debate. Okay, just to refresh your mind here, check it out. Oh, so good. Yeah. Boom! You could solve. There. Mic drop. Andrew Yang, in that moment, in my opinion, won the debate. He won the debate. The surprise that he dropped, I don't know why people are not thinking that this is an incredible surprise. It's absolutely outstanding. It is so far beyond, so much better, anything that I was imagining for the surprise. It was substantive. It went to the core of his message. It's definitely going to get people to pay attention. If you were watching the live stream, I lost it. I couldn't believe what he was talking about. It was an amazing surprise. It wasn't nothing. His issue is universal basic income. And he demonstrated that he's taking money that he could be spending on advertising, he could be spending on his own campaign, he could be spending on his needs, right? It's not like he has Pete Buttigieg money, right? He's taking the money that he has available to him, maybe not from his pocket, but from his campaign, and he's putting it towards this. He's putting money where his mouth is. He's betting on this. That's 10 people who get it. That's 10 families potentially who get it. That's every one of those family members, their friends and family who they talk to are going to talk about how this person is getting the freedom dividend. Everybody who talks to them, suddenly, if it's 10 cities, now that's spread out. Now that's hundreds of people in these studies who have been activated to, hey, what's going on? Becky's getting $1,000 a month. Becky won that $1,000 a month. What is that? What is that? It's going to generate buzz. The local news is going to want to talk about the person who got the $1K a month from Andrew Yang, the presidential candidate. It's a genius. I mean, it's the smartest way he could have spent this money. And the smartest way he could have opened out of his mouth, the first thing he says is this: drop the bomb. He changed the whole thing. It was an amazing surprise. Look, I was shocked to see that people were bothered by this. They thought he shouldn't do it. I do not know what world you guys are looking at. Maybe your half of the world. Okay, I got to accept that some people are not going to like this. So maybe your half is going to, but the other half is going to be thinking, what the hell was that? Who the hell is Andrew Yang? Here's the thing. He gave, instead of just saying, Google Andrew Yang, which is what I've always wanted him to do, just say the words Google Andrew Yang. He gave people a reason to Google him. He gave people a reason to Google him. If you're sitting there, you're listening to that, hey, 10 people are going to get $1,000 a month, you're like, I've got to check this out, right? I saw the light go out here. I got to put the light back on. I want you guys to be zen. A lot of you feeling upset. I understand. It might not have gone the way you expected. But it was beautiful. That announcement that he gave there, it's fire. All right, so he drops this announcement, right? He drops this announcement, and Pete Buttigieg, afterwards, he's like flabbergasted. Pete Buttigieg actually says something to the effect of, well, that's original. I'll give you that. It's fantastic. Kamala Harris was like nervously laughing. The room got silent. He got a ton of attention. Do you know how I know that what he said was absolutely fantastic? Because when you go onto ABC News and Fox News, MSNBC, when you go on these websites, there's almost not a single mention of that. I think Fox News has a mention of it, but there's no clip about it. There's very little about it. At least when I went to go check it out. It should be front page news. They're not talking about it. That means it's a good idea. If it was stupid, really a bad idea, then they would put it everywhere and ridicule him. But they know that if they put that in front of the American people are going to want to hear more from him. Oh, there was no audio. You need to at least tell people to stop interrupting. Yeah, we'll talk about that in a second. There was no audio. Oh my goodness. All right. Well, I guess I'm just figuring this out. Sorry, guys. I wanted you to see that, but can I flub that? I'll fix it in editing. All right. So the surprise announcement was actually the smart thing to do. And that's what we want from Andrew Yang. We want him to do the smart thing. We don't want him to do what all other politicians will do. We want him to do the smart thing. All right. There was no audio for the clip. Yeah. Thanks. That make me think harder. I thought there would be. I put the clip up here, and then there was no audio. I can hear the audio on my side, but for some reason, you guys are not getting it. Let me see. Well, I don't know why you're not hearing it. So let's just forget this little clip. We'll fix it later. Whoa, that's me. All right. So I admit he could have done better. All right? I'll say that. He could have done better. He didn't do outstanding. It wasn't a home run. But he did what he needed to do, folks. Come on. Look, most people watching this debate will have only seen the first 30 minutes of it. If that. So right at the beginning, he gives them meat on the bone. He gives them something to chew on. He gives them something to go and Google. Right at the top. I'm glad he didn't save it. I'm glad he didn't save it in his back pocket. He drops this bomb. Now, just so you know, I'm going to do another video about the autopsy, like what's gone on afterwards, the cascade of effects afterwards. But I've already heard of some people who are going to to match him. Like they want to help him give people $1,000 a month. They want to do this trial thing. They want to either help him with these 10 or help with other people. And I've even heard talk of people, hey, give to 20 people, 30 people. It's fantastic. It's already catching on. You guys are going to see, man, this thing here, what he just did there was the best thing he could have done. I am so proud of Andrew Yang. So proud of him and his campaign. All right. So yes, he could have done better. Afterwards, a lot of his answers, like I kind of fell asleep halfway through his answers. You know, I couldn't really follow it. I'm an idiot. I'm not like a super smart guy. I know that. So, you know, I'm more interested in entertainment. So I kind of fell asleep with some of his answers, but it didn't matter because I fell asleep with a lot of the other answers as well. And he did give good answers. Sometimes it wasn't very clear, but maybe that's just because of my ignorance on the topic. So yeah, he could have done better. I wish he didn't say, hey, tell immigrants, hey, immigrants, come here, come here. That's not going to do well in the general election. Come on, universal basic income, immigrants, come. I know he didn't mean it in that way, but he wanted to create an America that was great and prosperous and that it would be happy to welcome immigrants. But in a time where it's an issue, it's you know, I didn't think, I think that might be good for the primary. I think it actually might be very good for the primary, but for the general election, I think it wasn't so great. We got the bedroom intellectual here saying, hey, I see you pumping out these videos. Nice job. I'm here. Oh, thanks for being here. Thank you so much. That's a nice compliment. Yeah, I'm pumping out these videos. I'm going to pump out some more. So make sure you subscribe. Half the Yang Gang weren't into the idea of a personal attack on other Dems. I'm right there with you. I was not interested in a personal attack on the other Dems. The major reason I didn't want him to attack other Dems was because the moment he says their name, they get to speak. Just think about that. The moment he brings up their name, they get to speak. He doesn't need to give anybody more speaking time. So he got attention the only way the media couldn't ignore him. Yes, he was undeniable. Yes, absolutely. Just double down on UBI, man. That's all you got to do. Keep bringing it up. Keep talking about it. Keep making it part of people's consciousness, and they're gonna love it. They're gonna love it. Make Me Think Harder says, "Yep, no attack on other Dems. Don't attack other Dems. What's the point? What do you win by that? You're not gonna help. You're not gonna help so that their supporters are gonna come to your side. Attacking the Dems for what? Attack the ideas, right? Attack the ideas." I was talking about this in my pre-debate sort of strategy video. You want to attack the ideas, not the candidate themselves. So you can attack a federal jobs guarantee. You can attack Medicare for all. You can attack gun policy. Whatever it is you want to attack, you can attack it. But don't attack the person, just the idea. That's enough. Right? That is all you need to do. If you attack the candidate, you go after the Democrat specifically, then you're going to get this knee-jerk defensiveness from people who support them or even like them. All right. What else do we got here? So he told immigrants to come here. I don't think that was great, but probably good for now that I think about it, it's probably good for the primary. Cutting in, this interrupting stuff, Make Me Think Harder. You were talking about this. Butting in, interrupting does not work if you are not considered a top-tier candidate. It doesn't work. Look, I'll tell you, I don't know this for a fact, but I'm pretty sure this is true. The moderators, when they go on stage, in order to have the ability to do their job effectively, to actually stop people from speaking, they have to be encouraged and told, hey, you do whatever you got to do on that stage to reel them in, to take power, to take control. You as the moderator have to be the one in control. So even if it gets too awkward, even if it goes too far, we saw this with Don Lemon, right? We saw this with Don Lemon on the CNN debates. Even though it goes too far, shut down the things we don't want to hear about. Shut it down. So I've seen in many debates over the past decade where you have a lower or someone who's considered a lower tier candidate who interrupts, and they get shut down hard, buddy. What if you're top tier? They let you interrupt. They might do a little bit, but unless they're really trying to showboat, they let you speak. But if you're a lower tier candidate, excuse me, no, I'm sorry, no, Delaney, no, excuse me, no, we're going to get to you. We're going to get to you. Please respect the rules. They're not going to let him speak. And it's going to create this awkward, pathetic experience where a lot of people, it's the first time they're going to hear Andrew Yang and hearing him, excuse me, I want to speak. First of all, Andrew Yang ain't going to be good at interrupting, okay? He's polite. He's respectful. He's respectful of the rules. He ain't going to be very good at interrupting. I can't imagine he ever does that very well. He's not going to be good at interrupting, certainly not on a stage like that big stage. And, you're standing on that stage. I don't know if you guys have ever been on a stage, but it's totally different when you're on stage, okay? As a performer, I can tell you, you get up on that stage, the lights are in your face, the audience, you think, oh, you're hearing the audience. You might not hear the audience very well. I've been on stage doing comedy, and you think nobody's laughing, but they're laughing, but you think that nobody's laughing. Or sometimes you hear the laughter, and it sounds bigger than what it actually is. You look at the recording later on, you realize it wasn't that big. You miss all kinds of things around that stage. Just all kinds of distracting things happening off stage. You might not be able to hear very well. We saw that in the first debate where Andrew Yang was like, excuse me. The first thing he said was like, excuse me, what was that? Because he couldn't hear what was going on. So we don't know what he's hearing. We don't know what he's seeing. We don't know the distractions. We don't know what happens before, afterwards. We don't know what maybe they can hear the other candidates while they're up on stage, but we can't hear them. There's all kinds of things that's going on that stage. To effectively interrupt someone, it takes a whole lot, and you have to be desperate, I think, in order to do that. Better for you to wait your turn and to punch hard when you get your turn. And when I say punch hard, I don't mean other candidates, but I mean the issue at hand. And I think he did that right off the bat. So interrupting candidates, it's not going to work. I know you wish he did. It would not work. He would not get to interrupt. He would just sound like some pathetic loser who's like, excuse me, I can't get in. Oh, why can't you give me attention? Excuse me. I've seen people I like interrupting. I'm like, buddy, shut up. They're not going to give you any time. It just makes you look bad. And then, especially if they win, if the moderator wins, and with Andrew Yang, the moderator will win. Andrew Yang is not just going to slam them down. He's not like that. Even after the debate, he pointed to ABC and said, you guys are great. You guys are great. This guy is amiable, man. He's making friends. He's a salesman. That's what he does. Don't ask him to be antagonistic. He's not divisive. He's not a demagogue. He's not a politician. So he's not going to be able to act that way. He's not going to be able to do that effectively. And once he gets shut down, then he's going to be standing there. People are going to go say, oh, Andrew Yang can't even stand up to the moderator. No. Better that they don't even think about Andrew Yang until he speaks and says something meaningful. All right. So the bedroom intellectual says he's way better 1 versus 1. Absolutely right. Now that the field is narrowing, I think Andrew is going to hit harder relatively. Long form is his biatch. Yeah, absolutely. Look, Andrew Yang, clearly he's better when he has a long time to speak. When he knows he has the freedom to speak, then he can be concise, he can be long, but he communicates very well. When he sees that ticker, that timer goes off, he tries to get all of his words in right at that timer, and he ends on time, and it's, he keeps it succinct. And he's not actually thinking, hey, how do I communicate this effectively? He's thinking, how do I get this out in the time that I have? And that's because he's a substantive candidate. That's because he has things he wants to say. And he's not going to waste his time with just stories and anecdotes. And he's not going to waste his time with just appealing to talking points and what everybody wants to hear. He's going to give a true, complete answer. This guy, I can tell, he's like he's taking a test. And he's answering this question very well. And it might not be theatrical. It might not be good for the stage, but that's what he's going to do. That's what you get. He's not a politician. Andrew Yang ain't a politician. So what do you think you're going to get? He's going to have pros and he's going to have cons. And a lot of the cons are going to be related to the fact that he ain't a politician. What is it that you want, right? He's not a politician. There are consequences to that. He's been formatted to answer questions. As an entrepreneur, as an academic, he's programmed to answer questions. He's not programmed to do almost anything else. He solves problems, answers questions. He's not good at the rest of it. The rest of it is just au naturel. And you're not in your natural state on a stage like that. A different part of your brain activates when you go on that stage. What comes out is a different version of you. You got to be totally calm and in your element to bring out the best of yourself. And if you're not used to being on stages like that, which almost none of them are, it ain't gonna work, man. It ain't gonna work. Gotta let that part of him slide for now and forever. He's never gonna be that way, and we don't want him to be that way. He might get lucky here or there, but that's not where he's gonna win this. In the debate. Oh, he did so well in the debate. Now he gets to be president. That's not where he needs to compete. Why does he even care? If you're a politician, that's what you need. That debate is your whole thing. But if you're Andrew Yang, you almost don't even need the debate. Who cares? He needs to go viral. That's what he needs to do. Not in the media. All right. What are you guys saying here? So the bedroom intellectual says when he is interrupted, he shuts up and lets the person hang themselves. I think it's smart. I think it's good. Look, I can tell you this. Sometimes you interrupt and you interrupt at the wrong time. And it wasn't good, and maybe the person was saying something poignant, something meaningful, and you cut them off. Maybe you didn't hear completely what they were saying because you were thinking about what you were going to interrupt with, and then you missed something crucial. It's a very risky business to interrupt people on that stage. You do not know what's going to come out, and you do not know how people are prepared for your interruption and going to slam you back down. You never know. It's very risky. Better to let people hang themselves. Absolutely right. Maybe you think Harder says he could have still asked people not to interrupt him. What? I.e., I got least amount of time anyways. Please let me speak at my turn. Look, I gotta say, I honestly understand that idea, that sentiment, totally. And if I was on that stage, do you think I could hold myself back and not say something like that? Do you think that I could hold myself back and keep my emotions in check so that I didn't just erupt on stage or at least tell them, what the hell is going on here? This is no way to choose a president. Let me speak. Of course, I'm totally there with you. I know that. And if Andrew Yang was the type of person, I would say, buddy, do that. If I thought that he could do that effectively, I'd say do that. But he ain't that guy. He's respectful. He's polite. He's not that guy. What do we want him to be? We want him to be everything, or do we want him to be who he is? Do you want him to check off all the boxes that you're looking for, or do you want him to be who he is? I'm not looking for a president who matches everything that I want and behaves in the way that I'm looking for. I'm looking for a person who's authentic, genuine, a person that when they speak, you can believe them. And when they act, you know it's in accordance with their values, and not donors behind the scenes, and not lobbyists who are whispering in their ear and not looking forward to the next election. A real candidate. And that means flaws, buddies. That means warts and all, my friends. That's what that means. That's what we want from Andrew Yang, to be a real person. He's going to make a ton of mistakes. So would you. This is not a natural way for people to act, not a natural way for people to be on that stage with those lights, with those questions, with those rules. It's not natural. Those other politicians are practiced at it. We don't want somebody who's practiced at it. God bless Andrew Yang for not being good at theatrics, not being good at the garbage these politicians are good at. There's no shame with being good at that stuff. Politicians is perfectly fine. That's a legitimate career course. There's nothing wrong with that at all. I'm just looking for something different this time around. All right. What do we got here? So the bedroom intellectual says, then ABC did like 3 interviews post-debate for him after that comment. Well, they did do a lot of post-debates, and those were actually good. You could see he was more relaxed and back in his element. He continues to say, you hear about the new endorsement, I assume? The Reddit founder himself. Yes, I heard about it. Absolutely fantastic. I'll be doing a video about the repercussions of this debate. I want to let time go by so that we can know what's going on. Right now, I just want to stick to evaluating the debate. But yeah, buddy. Yeah, boy. Absolutely fantastic. All right. Was ready. He continues to say, was ready to match the funds if the $120,000 was blocked. Isn't that something, right? Coming out and saying, hey, if you can't get that money to the 10,000 to the 10 people, if for some reason that you get hung up and people keep talking about, it's a campaign violation, then I'll take the ball. Come on, man. That's way better than him having some soundbite. Oh man, what's this? What a great surprise. Okay. All right. What do we got? What else we got here? So he's not a politician, and there are consequences to that. He's respectful to the rules. He's polite. That's the guy we chose. That's our horse. That's our horse. All right. The Asian doctors comment. I'm Asian, so I know a lot of doctors. Okay, first of all, it's funny. Second of all, I don't know why people are like offended by that or bothered by that. Look, is it untrue? Is it like some weird stereotype? Tell me. Maybe I'm being very politically incorrect here. But aren't there a lot of Asian peoples who are at least encouraged to be doctors? I'm not surprised by that. He might know a lot of doctors. If he was Indian, he said, I know a lot of engineers." I'd be like, "Yeah, I totally believe you." Right? I mean, I don't understand. Why was it? If he's like, if he was Hispanic and he was like, "Oh, I know a lot of auto body repair shops." I understand that, right? Like, not all Hispanics repair cars, but I wouldn't be surprised at him saying, "I know a lot of people like that." So I didn't understand what was so offensive by it. Is it true? Does he know a lot of doctors? Is he Asian? Well, and it's funny. I know the way it landed was a little awkward. The laugh wasn't there, but I could see it in his eyes. He was like taking a chance. That's what we want, right? We want Andrew Yang. Andrew Yang, in normal Andrew Yang, he's like a comedian. He takes chances on stage. And you can't bash a comedian when they try to do something, okay? Because he was trying to fight for you. That comment was him trying to fight for you. It was him trying to stand out in the way that he is. Come on. All right. I mean, did you see him crowd surfing? I love that video. He's crowd surfing in a suit. It looked kind of weird. It looked a little dorky. It looked nerdy, didn't it? I mean, if you think about it, it's kind of nerdy to be crowd surfing in a suit, right? He looked awkward and nerdy, but he stood out. And he made this Asian doctor's comment on stage. And I know it was weird and awkward and nerdy, but he stood out. I think it's good. Be with him, okay? Let him experiment. Don't let him feel afraid to be himself. Don't let him second guess his words. This is not, when it comes to performance, this is not what we need to criticize Andrew Yang on. You perform any goddamn way you want, Andrew Yang. Any gosh darn way you want, Andrew Yang. Let me keep this PG. All right. We're almost done here. Okay, some of you folks. Let me look at the chat room here. Bedroom Intellectual says, "So I feel like the Yang Gang needs to needs to use their connections to get influencers to talk to Yang. Elon, Ellen, Oprah, Whoopi, and more. Zuckerberg, Shapiro, revisit his press gang." Yeah, I think he should go back on those podcast tours, and I think more celebrities are going to be interested in what he has to say. Honestly, I'm just getting a sense of that. I think more and more people are finding out, and the Yang Gang is actually doing a great job at reaching out to celebrities. You know, I know Paget is working on that too. So I think that is happening, and you're right. I think more of that is really good. See you later, the Bedroom Intellectual. Thanks for watching. All right, so let me finish up here. Okay, some of you Yang Gangers, you keep expecting Andrew Yang to blow up after the debates. Do you know now that's not going to happen? It's not likely to occur. It could, but it's not likely to occur. The debates are manipulated. They're going to give him less time. This is the third time in a row they're going to give him less time. He's not going to necessarily blow up after these debates. Eventually, when the field whittles down, then he might very well blow up, right? When there's four of them on stage and Andrew Yang is one of them and he's talking for 10% of the time, then he probably will blow up. But until then, this debate, next debate, he's not going to blow up. He's just going to, but all he has to do is keep moving up, keep moving forward. All right. So yeah, don't expect him to blow up after the debates. What's important is that Yang stays in the race and the field gets smaller. Okay, I think Beto is going to have to get going soon. I mean, I don't think he's low on money to stay in the race, but there's really no reason for any of them to get out of the race if they have the money to stay in. But Beto, does he really have the support? I don't know. And that comment he made about guns, he's not winning the general election with a comment like that. Castro, he's got to go, man. Obviously, the media seems to be on his side. They're giving more and more airtime. I'm really surprised by this, but he is in the business. He is an insider, but he's got to go. And Klobuchar, she actually did a decent job at the debates, but I don't think she's going to work. So if anybody's going to drop out, it's going to be one of these three. Did anyone else stand out at the debates? Did anybody else stand out like Andrew Yang stood out? I know the media says, oh, look at this and look at that and look at how Joe Biden handled this and look at that. But come on, man. Nobody really stood out at this debate. The one meaningful thing that happened was that comment, that surprise, that bomb that Andrew Yang dropped there. Okay? Nobody else really stood out. Nobody else is at the top there. Given that, Andrew Yang did a fantastic job. And, I've noticed that Andrew Yang is different when he's in front of friendlies. When he's in front of yanggangers, when he's in front of a crowd that's friendly or at least not hostile to him, not against him, he's totally different. And he doesn't really seem to know as well how to perform, like how to be his actually true self, not that stiff self, but that true self in front of a crowd that is not on his side. When he speaks and he maybe even says a joke and it lands silent, when he says something, the crowd doesn't say anything, or when they don't react in the way that he expects, he doesn't seem like prepared for that. I think he's been in front of his own audience for a little too long. The Yang Gang is so supportive and so there, and he's feeling all that love. And there's some of them in the audience that I don't know that he knows how to modulate himself for the regular crowd. So I wish he could figure out. He should practice in front of hostile audiences. He should go to hostile audiences and talk to them. There's this comedian here in Montreal where I live, and he performs in his house. Okay, he has these cool shows in his house, in his loft, and he's always performing in front of a crowd, or often in his place performing in front of a crowd that knows him, that likes him, that he relates to, that are on his side, on his team, and he's very funny. But when I see him perform in regular venues in front of an audience that's not his team, doesn't do very well. Most times it's kind of he's sometimes shaky, sometimes worse. And it's because he's always practicing in front of a friendly audience. You gotta go in front of a hostile crowd. So if the Yang Gang's not gonna challenge you, and I'm trying to challenge you, you gotta find some people who, you gotta practice in front of people who are not. Andrew Yang, go and try stand-up comedy. Go and try stand-up comedy and put that stuff, put that stuff online. Andrew Yang, go on stage at the Laugh Factory or something. Go somewhere where they'll have you perform comedy. Do like 3 minutes or something. All about your UBI, all about your thing. Drop the jokes that you drop. Record that, put that online. Or stream it. Andrew Yang performing stand-up comedy live. That will get you attention. Come on, folks. Is somebody writing this down? Could you please write this down? Make Me Think Harder says, hey, power to you. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much. All right, let me finish this up. I don't want to keep you guys here so long. It's already been 40 minutes. All right, so I said Yang is different in front of friendly, so I told you that. You guys are good. All right. That's it for the Yang debate recap. Those are my feelings about it. I'm going to have more to say, and we're going to look at the consequences that came from this, the media attention, the celebrity mentions, and all that in videos later this week. Definitely subscribe so that you can stay up to date with that content. I do want to say, I want Andrew Yang and the Yang Gang to start coming up with creative and innovative ideas. And let me be clear. That bombshell that he dropped at the beginning of the debate, I know you can't hear the audio, but the bombshell he dropped at the beginning of that debate, I think was innovative. It was creative, all right? And along those lines, you should keep doing stuff like that. That's what's going to get the media to give you some attention, and that's how the rest of the world is going to find out about you. So what if the Yang Gang, I had this thought, you ask yourself, how would you spend $1,000, all right? How would you spend $1,000? Well, what if the Yang Gang could get a fund together or could start finding people to give $1,000 to? Not every month for a year, but just to give them $1,000 to the person who answers the best question, answers someone you put out the question there, what would you do with $1,000? And then the Yang Gang spontaneously gives them that $1,000. That'd be getting some media attention, right? If people are like, what? Wait a minute. If I respond to this tweet, if I vote in this poll, if I check out Google Andrew Yang, I might get $1,000 just by telling you how I would spend that $1,000. That would get people engaged. And maybe it's random, and maybe you never know who's going to get that 1,000. So it's not this promise that you give out there. But what if the Yang Gang started getting together chunks of $1,000 and giving them to, somebody in need, somebody who comes up with a great way to spend it, the most creative solution for 1,000? That might get buzz going, a nice contest. And I believe that Andrew Yang should do a live stream marathon where he streams to all the Yangdom, and all the Yang Gang goes on and watches this live broadcast, right? And he leans into this idea of let Yang speak, right? They won't let me speak. Well, I'll go online and I'll speak on live. And he should do it he should be on for hours or something, like some marathon where he's on for 6 hours. Has any other presidential candidate put themselves in front of you for 6 hours and answering your questions, or however long, 3 hours, whatever makes sense. Just answering your questions back to back. And then from that footage, you're going to be able to get clips and answers and fun moments that are happening with the crowd. And if all the Yang Gang is there, I don't know how many Yang Gangers there are, but he would have a ton of people watching that live stream, asking questions, him being off the cuff. And then people would be like, oh my God, look at that. Andrew Yang, he found a way to speak to the world, right? A live feed. Share this. Andrew Yang is on right now. Andrew Yang is on right now. Go and watch Andrew Yang. I don't know if he's done it before, but I haven't seen him do it. So I want him to do a live streaming marathon. Can you imagine? If he's streaming, he sets up the cameras, he's streaming on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook Live, all at the same time. Answering questions, right? Trying to get that number up. If you're Yang Gang, get on board. If you're curious about Andrew Yang, get on board. Come and watch the stream, and you see that number pile up. Thousands, millions of people watching Andrew Yang because he's a presidential candidate who's not afraid to answer your questions, who's on a live stream right now, all day. 6 hours, 3 hours, 1 hour. I don't know. I think it's an interesting idea. Just trying to come up with some creative, innovative ideas that doesn't depend on the media. God bless the media. Honestly, I'm not really against them. They're doing the work based on the rules that are set out for them. Make money, right? So that's what they're doing. But let's go around them. All right, I had more to say here, but I've kept you here a little too long, 45 minutes. My goodness, I got to get out of here. Subscribe to the channel. More videos are going to be coming out. Stay zen. You see this elephant here? The reason I put this elephant here is because when the trunk of an elephant is up, in case you didn't know, I just recently found that out. If the trunk of the elephant is up, it means you'll have good luck. Come on. We're going to get some good luck. I think what Andrew Yang did is going to bring some luck his way. He really did something special. He did something that no presidential candidate has ever done. He put his money where his mouth is. He put himself out on the line. And he demonstrated that he cares more about the American people than winning a debate, putting out zingers, or just being president. That guy wants to solve problems. He wants to show you how meaningful it is to get $1,000 a month. And when those people start getting that money and they start talking about it and news is made about them, that's going to spread. This guy's a forward thinker. I love the guy. I have never been more impressed with Andrew Yang than I was at last night's debate. He did a wonderful job. Was it the best he could have done? No. I've seen Andrew Yang. He could have done a lot better than that. But what he did do was so surprising and shocking to me, was so incredible. I could have cried. And to hear the Yang Gang being upset with him for doing that kind of made me worried. If that's all it takes to throw you guys, well, I don't know. Don't let that be the case. Stick with Andrew Yang. Part of what we need to do is let him know it's okay to make mistakes. It's okay to go out there. It's okay to make those jokes. We are going to stay with you. And it's not good to just stay with somebody no matter what they do. I'm not saying that you have to like everything that he does and offer him no criticism. I'm just saying deep down in your heart, just know that what he did for you, he did for all of us. And he tried something. He gave it a swing. And it was better than him wearing something goofy on stage. It was better than him interrupting and arguing. He got what he needed to say out. He got attention within the first 15 minutes. Baller, yeah. Baller. Andrew Yang, you did as good. That's it for me. My name is Bad Guru. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and on Facebook. Subscribe to me on YouTube. I don't have a sign off for this channel. I don't have a sign off. I gotta figure out what sign off to say. No.